Hi guys, it's Ree, and I'm here at the Pioneer Woman Mercantile in Pawhuska, and I'm having my first ever live signing. I almost said virtual signing. It's not virtual because I'm actually here. But more and more authors are doing this. I think it's so cool. I'm leaving next week for my book trip, and of course I'm not able to go to every city. So some folks have ordered books ahead of time, submitted questions, which I'm going to answer during my signing. And I'm going to see how many books I can get through as I talk to you guys and answer questions. So I'm super nervous because this is live after all. So you can go to pioneerwomanbook.com. We have a few left. And meantime, I'm just going to start signing. We might play a game here and there. I just have coffee, so it's not that kind of game, but I'm a little bit hyped up on caffeine. So I'm going to start signing, and I'm going to start with some questions. But thanks for joining, and if I embarrass myself, please love me anyway. Oh, by the way, this is my cookbook. Comes out next week. It's called Come and Get It, and it's my 5th cookbook. This cookbook is kind of an answer to the absolutely crazy life that we have at our house these days. I have 4 teenagers. Granted, one is at college. Hi, Alex. Pretty sure she's not watching me right now, but hi anyway. But we have football, we have volleyball, we have soccer, we have cow manure, we have horses that think they live on our porch. My husband works on the ranch. I have work here at the Merc and at home. So basically, I can't spend all day just leisurely stirring dinner anymore. So this book is all about quick and easy, make ahead. I've got some slow cooker sensations in here. I've even got a section of meatless marvels. Don't tell my cattle rancher husband, but you know, sometimes you like to break out the meatless meals. And all of my recipes, of course, have the step-by-step photos. I feel like Price is Right. Love that show. But anyway, and I love every recipe in here. There are a lot of solutions if you have a crazy busy life, so hope you're able to check it out. And again, I'm going to start signing, and I have a little bit of a problem where I can't write and talk at the same time, so this is going to be very interesting. But I'm going to ask a question that you all have sent in. What's your favorite romantic dish to make for a date? I assume you mean my husband. I hope you mean my husband. That is from Andrew in Cumming, Georgia. You know, if Lad and I ever have time to just be at home by ourselves, if the kids are gone for any reason, of course I got to make a steak, either a ribeye or a filet. I'll usually sear it in an iron skillet and finish it off in the oven, and then I'll make like twice baked potatoes or roasted garlic mashed potatoes, probably like an iceberg lettuce salad with ranch dressing. I mean, we're talking serious culinary innovation here, guys. But that's the kind of food my boyfriend/husband loves, so that's kind of a typical date night dinner. Okay, next one. Do you have any suggestions on a better way to get holiday stuff ready for each season? I have kitchenware for different holidays, but never seem to be able to get it all out in time. Oh gosh, this is a great question. You know, there's so much like Christmas dinnerware out there and Thanksgiving dinnerware, and I think it's really great to have kind of solid foundations, and then you can just swap in kind of the salad plates and accessories. You know, I think gone are the days where, you know, you have 5 different patterns of china and 12 of each. I kind of like to have a more layered approach with my tableware. So, you know, start with, you know, a great solid pattern, either off-white or white. Red is fun. And then you can sort of layer in the harvest Thanksgiving colors for your Thanksgiving table, layer in Christmas. So that's kind of how I like to deal with that. See, I can't write and talk at the same time. I'm going to get one done, and then I'll ask another question. How are you guys tonight? We're having a great day in Pawhuska. It's kind of fall break, so the Merc is nice and busy. Lots of folks visiting from different areas. So when I get nervous, I adjust my hair, so forgive me. Okay, next question. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm having to pull it away. I forgot my reading glasses because I'm 48. Do you cook all day long, 7 days a week? Most definitely not, guys. And you know, that's really what this cookbook is all about. This time in my life, it's just so crazy that I can't be in the kitchen all the time. So I have a section in this cookbook of dinners you can make under 40 minutes, dinners you can make under 20 minutes. And then I do have slow cooker meals in here. Not that that's quick, but it is so easy. And I happen to be a fan of slow cooker recipes that where you throw everything in basically and turn it on with not a whole lot of prep work beforehand. Because I think if you have to pre-cook a lot and prepare, it sort of defeats the purpose of a slow cooker. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. By the way, I also have a section of sheet pan suppers in here. Let's see if I can be lucky enough to flip right to it. Aha! There we go. So I think sheet pans are kind of the new slow cooker in some ways, where you just throw everything on a sheet pan. So this is one with salmon and kale. And basically you just tear a bunch of kale leaves, put them on a sheet pan, and then put some salmon patties on there. Brush it with teriyaki sauce or hoisin sauce or whatever sticky sauce you like. And then just throw it into a pretty hot oven. And see, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I really can't. And then the kale sort of gets crispy. And then when I pull it out, the salmon's done, and I pour a little bit more sauce on top. That is so good, and it's so easy. And I would like to confess that I did not like salmon until I was in my 40s. Isn't that strange? I don't know. I still don't like bananas, and I don't think I'll ever come around on that. But I definitely love salmon now. So, okay, next question. How do I get my oatmeal cookies to stay soft? Oh, that's a great question. So I think it's all about baking time. The oatmeal cookies that I make, if I go 1 minute over the cooking time, they're crispy. So I just kind of watch them, and just when they're barely puffed and set, I take them out and let them kind of finish baking on the cookie sheet. I learned a trick though years ago. If you do have a batch of cookies that is too crispy, it can ruin your day. So you can put them into like a Tupperware container or a Ziploc bag with a piece of bread, like preferably white bread or sandwich bread. And then a few hours later, the cookies have kind of absorbed the moisture from the piece of bread. And the bread probably tastes like oatmeal cookies. So you wind up with one more cookie in the bag. That's really weird, I'm sorry. But that's the trick that really works. So if you crisp up your cookies too much, you have options in life. Okay, when did you know Lad was the one for you? I knew after 3 months. We have been married for 51 and a half years. That is from Barb in Darlington, Wisconsin. Oh gosh, you know, I will say that when I met Lad, it was an instant, lightning bolt, electrical charge, weak knees, you know, that whole thing. I always kind of think about West Side Story, the scene where Tony and Maria are at the dance and they see each other across the room and the whole room goes blurry. I think the whole room was blurry for me. I think it might have still been a little in focus for Lad. But he just really was something to look at. He had a really nice, quiet manner that appealed to me. I'm not all that quiet. I'm not sure if you noticed that or not. But you know, in terms of if I knew it would be a forever thing, certainly not. You know, that takes a while. But I certainly knew that something special had gone down at the J Bar in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Okay, next question. This is from Barbara in Festus, Missouri, and she wants to know if I would want to go back to my life before my show started. That's a great question. You know, if my life was wildly different than before the show started, that might be something to think about. But honestly, if I didn't do the show anymore, there's not a whole lot that would be different. I probably would have fewer tops in my closet because, gosh, I have to have tops. This show of mine that I shoot, I remember hearing that story of the little boy whose dad caught him smoking when he was young, and as a punishment, he locked him in a closet with a pack of cigarettes and said, "Don't come out until you've smoked them all." And sometimes I think I don't want another top. I know that sounds funny, but I feel like even though I have tops, I wear the same one, for 2 weeks in a row. I seriously love this top I'm wearing, and it's so comfy, so I wear it. I sleep in it. Not really, but I want to. It's so comfortable. Okay, next question, guys. Thanks for joining me, by the way. If you could change one thing about cooking, what would it be? This is from Christina in Wyoming. If I could change one thing about my cooking, gosh, I'd probably, I'll tell you what I would do. I would be neater as I cooked. When I cook, I tend to kind of just go crazy and spread out, and I don't pay too much attention to picking up as I go along, and that can be a little overwhelming at the end of a lot of cooking. So I'm trying to get better, but I'm 2 years away from being 50, so I wonder when I'm going to turn over a new leaf here. I'll keep you posted. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. From Connie in Vermillion, South Dakota. Do you ever sing when you cook? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, yes. So I have been completely consumed with the Hamilton soundtrack in recent months. I don't know every word yet, but I listen to it every day. If I'm not listening to it, I sing it. I better not do that now because I might run you guys off. I love Ethel Merman. There's no business like show business, like no business I know, or something. Ooh, I was off on that one. I'm a little hoarse. So yeah, I sing. I don't sing well, as I just demonstrated. But I like Broadway show tunes, and you guys, Hamilton. Let's talk about this. So Les Mis has always been my musical. Since the time I was in high school and first saw it, I just thought nothing could ever top Les Mis. Hamilton, Les Mis, Hamilton, Les Mis, they are vying. Hamilton is so rich in information and history and perspective, and Lin-Manuel Miranda just is the brilliance of his writing and how he was able to turn actual historical events into, it's really not a rap musical, but it has amazing rap qualities that if I'm listening to it and I'm walking down the road, I can walk like 2 miles more than I normally would. So I would highly recommend just listening to the Hamilton musical. My favorite songs are currently, because it changes, My Shot. Of course, It's Quiet Uptown. It's so sad. And Battle of Yorktown. So, moving on. I might sing later if I lose my marbles. In your book, Black Heels to Tractor Wheels, you boarded up the house that you and Lad were going to fix up and live in. What happened to that house? Oh my goodness. Yes, it was a yellow brick house. We were going to fix it up. We actually wound up selling that part of our ranch years and years ago. That's going to be in Black Heels to Tractor Wheels Volume 2, I think. It's quite a story, but the house is now gone, unfortunately. I drove by there one day and it wasn't there anymore, so it kind of made me sad, but I love where we live now. We live in the house where Lad grew up, where he was raised, and it's home to me. I just love it there. I feel like I've been there my whole life, and I almost have. Okay. Thank you guys for the questions, by the way. It really helps with combating awkward silences. My friend Haley's here. Hi, Haley. Am I being awkward? Is everything okay? She just said yes.
People love you.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, next question. Oh gosh, there's so many good questions. Cheryl from Belleville, Illinois wants to know, what is the one thing you miss most living out on the ranch? Gosh, that's so hard. I love living on the ranch. I think anything I had to get used to through the years, I have completely gotten used to it by now and given it up. I will tell you, the one thing that you take for granted living in town or in a city is trash service. So we are the trash service. We have to haul it off and burn it, and we can't put it outside because we have critters. In fact, after Lad and I were married, I just thought you could put trash out in a trash can and someone would come pick it up. But the only thing that came and picked up our trash was a bobcat. And I remember I was pregnant and I had morning sickness, and I was out in this little house in the country and at night, and the next morning I got up, I looked outside, and I thought it was like a mountain lion outside my window, but it was just a little bobcat, but scared me to death. That was a long-winded answer, but probably just trash service, but everything else I've kind of gotten used to by now. So, okay. I'm going to pull this up because I can't read it. Let's see. Oh, Belinda Marie from Loudon, Tennessee. Hi, Belinda Marie. What is your most memorable kitchen disaster? Well, I have had my share of kitchen disasters. For some reason, I just can't get Food Network to be okay with showing them, but I need to show more and more. But one memorable one I just shared recently. So I had a group of ladies over to my house for dinner. This was way before I started blogging, way before my show. My kids were tiny, and there were some girls in town, and I made sort of a Thai noodle salad, and I was bound and determined to make homemade green tea ice cream. I mean, there are so many, I would never do something like that now, but for some reason I just had to do this. So this was back in, probably 1999 or 2000, and I bought green tea and I ground it up, and I actually made green tea ice cream. I churned it in my ice cream churner, and then I wanted to freeze it overnight, so when the ladies came over for dinner, I could scoop it, and it would be really hard. Well, I didn't shut the freezer all the way. There was like that much that was open. I found this out kind of middle of the day, the next day, and not only was everything just thawed, meat, but I had this tub of green sludge, and it basically it sort of got darker as it sat there and thawed, and it seriously looked like a mud mask that you would put all over your face. And you know what? I had put so much time and work into it. I shut my fridge. I had like 2 hours before the dinner, but of course it didn't salvage it. But I actually served little cups of it to my friends because I was like, there's no way this can fail. I've devoted too much of my life. But that was a memorable and very visual kitchen disaster. Thank you for letting me remember that. Okay, Bonnie from Arbuckle, California wants to know if we have any tours of our ranch. And actually we do, Bonnie. So my husband and I opened the Mercantile a year ago. We're almost at our year anniversary. And a few months ago, my husband had the idea to let visitors to the Mercantile drive out to our ranch and just tour the lodge where we film our show. And I didn't think anybody would want to drive all the way out there because it's about 25 minutes to the lodge from town. But for the last several months, when our lodge tours are open, lots of folks go out there and they meet Walter and Duke and Lucy and Yeah, so we do. We don't have the tours all the time. We do have them now for a 3-week period. So pretty much any day the Merc is open, lodge tours are open. So you just have to come to the Merc and get the top secret instructions and directions for how to get out there. And you have to drive slow because it's like 5+ miles of gravel road and it's kind of hard on tires. So, okay, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. I sure am. Let me stop for a second before the next question and just flip. Since it's a book signing, I wanted to flip through and just show you. There's another sheet pan supper. It's steak and bell peppers, and I actually throw it under the broiler, and it really works well. As far as meatless marvels, I'm trying to get there. Hold, please. Oh, look, Alex, my college student. She goes to Texas A&M. She's loving it. She's very mature, just like her mother. Okay, I say a lot. I'm going to try to stop that. Oh, here's what, the meatless section, these grilled eggplant steaks with Greek salad on top. Not the typical thing I would serve Ree Drummond for dinner, I gotta say, but I actually love veggies. I love eggplant. If you don't, you gotta give it a chance, guys. It's delicious. And I've got a dessert. Oh, there's Cowboy Josh, by the way. I get questions about Cowboy Josh a lot. Cowboy Josh, he's married now and has 3 sweet stepchildren, and he and his wife Amanda have a baby named Taos, and he's precious. He's on Josh's hip all the time. And then just, I really feel good about this cookbook because I feel like it's the kind of cookbook that you can just pick up if you don't have any ideas and you know, you don't have much time to cook dinner, and you'll be able to find something that you can whip up. Or, you know, put a spin or a variation on something. Okie dokie. Back to questions. Let's see. Where do I get my boots? I'm gonna do it. Wearing boots. I've had these for years. I get them, you know, I'm really more brand driven than retailer driven, so wherever I can find the brands that I really like. One of my favorite brands for boots, and this is not an endorsement, I have nothing to do with this company, but Corral, C-O-R-R-A-L, right? Yes. Corral Boots. I like them because they're not ridiculously expensive. There's kind of a range, and they also have really fun patterns and colors. They have, you know, eagles and you know, gold threads. It's a little bit Elvis-y, but not too much. But most of all, they're really comfortable. So when you buy boots, I think you've got to try them on and walk around the store. I have found that cowboy boots are seriously one of the most personal purchases that you can make. So just be prepared to try on several pairs, and you'll kind of find the style that you like and, you know, how high you like them up on your leg. I could go on and on. Okay. Thanks again, guys. See, I just said again. Please help me break that habit. Would you consider giving cooking lessons at the ranch or the Merc? This is from Bill in Pennsylvania. Well, you know, I would love to. You know, my cooking is so simple and everyday. And again, I am a cook. I'm not a trained chef. I didn't go to culinary school. So, you know, I would probably show things like how to make my mom's cinnamon rolls. You know, it's not necessarily teaching methods, but more just showing how to make it exactly the way I like to make it and things like that. But I would love to do that. It seems like between filming the show and you know, having time with the kids and lad and sports and everything, I haven't had a lot of time to do anything extra, but someday that would be a lot of fun to do. I used to have get-togethers at the lodge in my blogging days. I would have kind of small gatherings and have a guest come. I had Bakerella, Angie Dudley, come and make cake pops. This was back in, I swear, 2008, I think. Deb Perlman from Smitten Kitchen came out and had an amazing workshop. Deb has a new cookbook out too, the very same day mine comes out. So I thought that was kind of fun. So, but that's a great question. Thank you. All right, next one. Oh, this is tough. Janine from Tucson says, how are you going to handle your empty nest? Guys, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be so ugly. When Alex went to college, I had a quivering lip for months. How long did I cry? Years. 5 months. If anyone asked me about Alex or how she was doing, I'd go, oh, she's great. My chin would start quivering, and I'd cry at church. And so that's just 1 out of 4, you guys. And Paige is a senior in high school, so I'm getting ready to do it all over again. And Paige going to college is kind of going to be uniquely sad because not only, am I going to miss Paige, but then I'm going to be the only girl in the house. Oh, boy. Help me. It's going to be an adventure. I love my boys. Gosh, do I love them. But, man, they are crazy. They're a lot of fun, though. Okay, next question. Thank you guys so much. There's so many fun ones. Brian from Brewer, Maine is asking, would you ever do a ranch trip tour around the United States? Preferably would love to see you bring your cooking to Maine. My gosh, you know what? I have never been to the state of Maine. So I've been to most states. There are probably 5 to 7 I haven't been to, and Maine is one of them. I really want to go. But I'm going on a book tour starting next week. Because I don't want to be away from home for long periods of time. I just go for 2 or 3 days, and then I go home for a week, and then I'll go again for 2 or 3 days. And so I do kind of go on road trips, but they're in spurts. I'm sorry, guys. When I can see myself, and I keep finding things to tweak. So I'm a hopeless girl. I can't help it. All right. Donna from Pell City, Alabama wants to know, what is my favorite item in the Mercantile? So the Mercantile is a combination store, bakery, and deli. So I think my favorite thing in the deli right now is the Reuben. It's not a classic Reuben. It's made with kind of a tangy tomato brisket and coleslaw and lots of cheese, and that's kind of what I'm craving right now. My favorite thing in the bakery is the chocolate almond croissant, or croissant, as I usually say. And my favorite thing in the store is everything. And that's because I pick out everything that we sell in the store. I obsess over every single item, whether it's like a little ceramic berry strainer or whoopee cushions or historical finger puppets. We actually have Alexander Hamilton finger puppet, believe it or not. We have all sorts of great finger puppets. But I just, when I walk around the store, it just kind of makes me smile because it's a mix of things, funny things and useful things and, ranchy things. Not raunchy things. I said ranchy things. It's not that kind of store. Okay, let me ask another couple of questions. I'm gonna rest my wrist. Let's see. What is your favorite casserole and dessert recipes? This is from Betty in Mount Vernon, Texas. My favorite casserole of all time is chicken spaghetti that my mom always made and that I make. And actually, chicken spaghetti is one of the only casseroles that Lad Drummond loves. So that's kind of his favorite casserole. So it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Dessert recipe, I think I could eat creme brulee every day for the rest of my life and never get tired of it. But I feel the same way about sushi, and sushi and creme brulee are things that I just don't have very regularly, and they're definitely not easy to whip up on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, whatever tonight is. So I think my favorite things are the things I can't have. Let's analyze that for the rest of this signing. What does that say about me? Human nature. But when I go on a trip, to New York or a city, and I have time to go out to eat, I definitely don't go to a steakhouse unless Lad's with me. But I want to go find something different that I can't have on a daily basis. So sushi or sushi. What is my favorite cookie recipe? Dora from Orlando, Florida. Right now it is kind of just a variation on a chocolate chip cookie, but it has, I add a little instant coffee to the dry mixture, and I use this is not a brand endorsement again, but it's the little Via from Starbucks instant coffee sleeves, and I just add one sleeve to my dry ingredients whenever I make chocolate chip cookies. And instead of chocolate chips, I chop up semi-sweet chocolate bars into chunks because they just melt so beautifully, and they're still soft hours later, where sometimes the chocolate chips can kind of harden a little bit. But the kicker with these cookies is the browned butter. So if you haven't ever made brown butter, it will change your life. What I do is I take half of the amount of butter that the recipe calls for in a chocolate chip cookie, and I use half of it softened as the recipe says, but then I brown the rest of it. And so just put it in a little skillet, heat it over medium heat until it bubbles, and then after it bubbles, just kind of start swirling around the pan. I just kind of gently shake it. And slowly but surely, you'll see the color of the butter start to change, and you'll see even little solids on the bottom of the skillet. You want to pull it off when they're definitely kind of past light brown, because if you wait until they're dark golden, you might burn the butter solids, and that doesn't taste very good. So then you just let it cool and drizzle it into the chocolate chip cookie dough, and it's a triumph. I sometimes don't even want to make the cookies. I just want to sit there and eat the dough. And sometimes I do just sit there and eat the dough. Oh. I don't know why my jeans are snug these days. I just can't figure it out. Okay. Said again. Let's see. These are great questions, guys. I just want to get through as many as possible. Okay, Janice from Auburn, California wants to know, what ingredients are you never without at home? Oh gosh. I do have staples. Oh my gosh, that question was not planted, but I'm going to show you a little section of my cookbook in the front that I'm really excited about. It's not the picture of Lad and me, although I like that one. Oh, I'm gonna pull up the larger picture of Lad and me in that version. Please hold. Oh, I'll never get to it. Oh well, it's a picture of Lad and me, and you might have seen it on my Instagram. Just try to get closer to the camera. But you know what? That is what I feel like when I'm with Lad. I feel protected and kind of safe and enveloped. It's crazy, I'll tell you. But I tell him that. I'm like, I don't know if this is good, but I'm kind of dependent on you. And he sort of laughed. I said, how does that make you feel? He said, I think I kind of like it. So anyway. Oh, so where was I going? I'm sorry. So you asked, gosh, can I digress sometimes? I'm really sorry. So in the front of my cookbook, I have a few spreads. So this one is my top 20 favorite pantry items. And basically what I did was I went in my pantry, and I didn't plan it ahead of time. I just said, today I'm going to shoot all the pictures of my favorite pantry items. So I pulled out the brands I had at the time. None of these are endorsements. They're just what I had. So I have things like, the canned tomato products, the jarred marinara sauces, syrups, the kinds of canned beans I like. So just the basics that I like to have on hand. And then I also have my 12 very favorite freezer staples. And again, I just opened my freezer and I pulled out the things that if I don't have them in there, I start to get nervous. And same thing with fridge, 15 favorite fridge staples. All the numbers are different because I didn't want to just stick to one number. I wanted to really just show you the things that are indispensable for me. And then my personal favorite, and certainly my husband's personal favorite, my 12 favorite cuts of beef. I started with 10 and I had to add 2 more. But, sometimes aside from hamburgers and steak, beef can get a little bit confusing. So I just put the favorite cuts of mine and the kinds of recipes I like to make with them. So I'm really excited about that section because when I write a cookbook, my biggest hope is that it's useful and that, that it gets really stained and messy, and that's why I like to do cookbooks, because I want people to really use them. So, and it's funny, I had a big stack. It's kind of dwindling. Okay, I've got a few more questions, guys. Colleen from Kelso, Washington. Do you ever just get tired and want a day off? Oh my gosh, yes, I do. I don't mean any disrespect to men who shoulder all sorts of burdens, but, I was talking to someone the other day just about how we women really do take on so much, kind of the emotional burdens of those around us and just our schedules and wanting to, kind of be everything to everyone. And I think the hardest thing I've had to learn through the last, especially 10 years, is just the fine art of prioritizing and really the fine art of saying no if I have to. And that's such a great quality. Of course, say no graciously, but, I think I've gotten better at identifying a wall that's coming, that I'm about to hit. And so if I really can kind of think into the future and see, okay, this is going to get too busy and I'm not going to be able to be there for the ones I love. And so I'm getting better. Of course, there are weeks where everything converges and I want to crawl under my covers, but I start every day with coffee, iced coffee, and I start every day with the Psalms. So that's my secret. Just do with it what you will. And I've just learned that if an opportunity comes my way, it has to feel really good and feel really authentic to me. Because if I say yes to something that doesn't feel right, and then it comes up and I have to balance and take time away from my family, then it's kind of a double whammy. So just a little life advice for anybody, but girls especially. All right. Lots of recipes, lots of questions about cookies. I think we are all like-minded in that regard. Let's see. Oh, here's a guy asking for his girlfriend. He's typing in a question for his girlfriend. Benjamin, for your girlfriend. Oops. Do you ever cook special meals for Walter the Basset Hound? Well, Walter gets, he gets scraps from the Drummond house, and he gets dog food, he gets scraps. And yes, sometimes, if I have a little extra scrambled eggs, I'll make a little plate for Walter and take it outside. I used to do that for Charles. Speaking of Charles, and I am not going to cry. I don't cry. I don't cry at all, but I have a poem that I wrote for Charlie in the back of my cookbook. Charlie was my beloved Basset Hound. I'm sure a lot of you remember him, and he was so special to our family. And so when I wrote my last cookbook, Charlie was still with us. So since he's not with us anymore, I wrote, I started out thinking I'd write a couple of verses, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 verses. And I could have kept going. I guess I had a lot of time on my hands that night, but you know, it's not like a literary poem. It's like a rhyming poem, but it's sweet. I think you'll like it. I love questions about the dogs. It sends me into a rabbit hole. Okay, oh, this is a good one. Deborah from Westby, Wisconsin. I struggle to make the perfect meatloaf. It always ends up dense and too solid. Any suggestions? Absolutely. So I think the secret to good meatloaf or meatballs or anything in that category is to add plenty of bread filler. When I make meatloaf, I literally use white Wonder Bread. And I know that sounds crazy, but it has such an amazing, I don't know, Wonder Bread taste to it. But it works really well for meatloaf. I think the biggest mistake you can make is not adding enough bread relative to the amount of meat that you use. So really throw it in there. I think for 2.5 pounds of ground beef, I probably use 8 good slices of white bread. I make an Italian meatloaf where I use more like crusty ciabatta or other Italian bread. But just really keep adding bread until it shouldn't be too dense with meat, because that's what makes it shrink and become hard. So you still want it to be nice and soft when you slice through it. Oh, meatloaf sounds so good right now. I am very, very hungry. So just a reminder, I'm doing a live book signing here, and the purpose of it is to sign some books for people who aren't able to make it to one of my signings on my book tour. The website is pioneerwomanbook.com, and the folks who have bought the books there have submitted questions, and those are the questions that I've been answering tonight. But this is a lot of fun. My last cookbook came out in 2015, and I didn't know about this until this book, and I thought it would be fun to try it. So I'm having a good time. Time's flying. Okay, more questions. Haley's whispering. It's making me nervous. Okie doke. Gosh, is somebody counting how many times I've said Oh, I'm going to go off topic a little bit. So I am thinking that I want to get a bob. And this is kind of, this is kind of the length I'm thinking. Can you see it? Can you imagine it? But I want kind of one of those wavy bobs with wispies that the Real Housewives are starting to get. I take my cues from the housewives. But my biggest concern is that I will look, let's see, like a mom with a bob when I'm finished. So please eat. And then, as I said in my magazine, then I worry that my hair is too long for a 48-year-old. So it's no fun to be in my head, guys. I mean, I can't win for losing with myself. But okay. Thank you for listening. Do your children like to cook? This is from Alice in Florida. You know, Paige is really my only kid that really enjoys getting in the kitchen and getting her hands dirty. Bryce and Todd and Alex pretty much love to eat. Although Alex at college has actually been cooking this year more and more. She kind of sends me little photos of things she's cooked. She's been doing a paleo diet, which I don't know anything about, but she's coming home tomorrow with a friend of hers, and she has requested paleo food. So can you guys send me some quick paleo ideas? I've got to do some Googling. Oh, gosh. Okay. What's one tip you would give to new bloggers or aspiring cookbook authors? From Ashley in Marion, Kansas. You know, I think whether you're an aspiring cookbook author or food writer or any kind of writer, I really didn't consider myself a writer when I first started blogging. I just started blogging. And, I think the first piece of advice I would give is just start. Just start writing. And it's kind of like a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. When I look back at things I wrote, 10, 15 years ago, it definitely lacked some of the polish that I might have now. Not that I'm overly polished with my writing, but, just the more you write, the better it gets. And then, just find what you're really passionate about. I happen to just blog about the recipes that I was making for my kids and my husband, and a very, hearty, wholesome family meal approach. And that's kind of where my passion was, just finding the best versions of everyday meals. But if you have a certain category of recipe that you're super passionate about, I have found that passion really shows. The authors that I love and the cookbook voices that I love, they're really feeling it, and you can tell. So just make sure to be yourself and find the things that you love, and that's definitely going to make it a lot easier. 15 more minutes. I just got a message from like 10 feet away. Oh gosh. Okay. What herbs do you grow? Oh gosh. I love growing herbs because it's just so rewarding to need herbs and go outside, and I always imagine myself having a cute little wicker basket and a really cute garden hat and kind of strolling out to my herb garden and snipping a little twig of rosemary. But in reality, I'm like running out. It's 105 degrees in Oklahoma, and I'm like pulling it out by the roots so I can hurry and get back inside before the bugs eat me and the rattlesnakes get me. So it's not quite that dramatic, but the herbs I love to grow, basil is my favorite. I swear, basil is my life. It completes me. It gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And it's kind of not something that I can just run to our local grocery store and get. Of all the herbs, basil plays hard to get in my life. It's hard. So in the hot Oklahoma summer, basil just goes crazy because basil needs full sun. And we sure have that on the ranch. So that's always fun. If you grow basil, this is a terrible time of year to give gardening tips, I'm sorry. But if you do grow basil, you have to go out, just depends, but at least 2 or 3 times a week and pinch the little white flowers that are starting to form. And if you're disciplined about that, you'll get this beautiful, just huge bush. If you don't do that, these little stalks of flowers will come up and it'll sort of steal energy from the basil leaves itself. I hope I know what I'm talking about. That's my experience. I'm not a horticulturalist, so I don't know the reason for that. But so it takes a little maintenance. I also love to grow rosemary because it's so hardy, and it sometimes I've had a couple of winters where the rosemary has lasted the winter and been all year. So that's always really nice. And rosemary is so good in pot roast. My favorite herbs for pot roast are rosemary and thyme. I do like 2 little sprigs of each and throw it in the liquid when I put the pot roast in the oven, and it's just so good. Another thing, I'm digressing, but I like to talk about food and stuff, and especially bread. So one of my favorite recipes is on my website, and it's buttered rosemary rolls. And I use the frozen yeast rolls. The brand I like is Rhodes, but you can get any brand you like. And I put them frozen in an iron skillet. I really like to use mini iron skillets for them, but you can put them in a big one. Cover them up and then just go on with your life for several hours, and they'll rise. And then before you bake them, brush them with butter really gently because they'll be light. And then sprinkle kosher salt or sea salt and chopped rosemary. Oh, they are so amazing. And nobody knows that you started with frozen dinner rolls. So that is actually a great Thanksgiving dinner roll recipe. I think Thanksgiving is definitely one of those days where it's super hard to whip out the dinner rolls from scratch. I've done it before, but timing that can really be a bear. And invariably, form the rolls way too late. They don't rise all the way. But with the frozen dinner rolls, you really just have to take them out of the freezer the morning when you get up and stick them in the iron skillets. The iron actually, I think it, maybe conducts a little bit more heat, and it helps them rise a little bit more. So I totally made that up, but I think that's really true, rather than putting it on a cold, like, stainless pan. So, okay, I'm gonna ask some more questions, guys. Are Lad and the kids picky eaters? Belinda from Iowa. I'm gonna skip that one. Actually, it's kind of a mix. Todd, my baby, could live on like Hostess ding dongs if he wanted to. I mean, I don't know where the kid gets his nutrition, because he loves junk food, and he'll eat meat and potatoes and mac and cheese, and the rest of it's going to take some time. David from Pennsylvania, do you ever use instant potatoes? That's a really good question. I am so not against any shortcut ingredients that you want to use. I like refrigerated pie crusts. I like, as I said, frozen dinner rolls, unbaked. I like, frozen puff pastry. I don't happen to use instant potatoes. It's not that I'm against it. It just doesn't happen to be in my repertoire of shortcut ingredients. I have found with shortcut ingredients that, the more you kind of doctor them up, the more you can get away with using the shortcut ingredients. So with instant potatoes, I would probably be tempted to add, something that took a little bit more time and care, like roasted garlic cloves, or maybe even some chopped bacon and a little cheddar, just to kind of take the attention away from the fact that it's not quite, a fresh potato. I hope that made sense. Kind of just muck it up a little bit so nobody really knows what's going on. Add bacon and cheese to anything, and you can get away with it. Okay, I want to make sure I get as many questions in as possible. Thank you guys for being here with me. I've had fun signing my cookbook. I'm going to tell you the table of contents. Somebody asked me that earlier today, and I thought I should have this memorized, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. So everything is pretty simple, straightforward. Breakfasts, lunches on the go, which I'm very excited about, because I think at lunchtime it can really be one of those things where you just need something quick. Sometimes Paige has to leave for volleyball practice in Tulsa, around lunchtime. So we've got things like cowboy bento boxes and pasta salad in a jar, and easy things that you can make ahead of time and have in the fridge to grab and go. Appetizers and snacks, under 40 minutes, under 20 minutes, which is very exciting. And then the take your time section, that's where the slow cooker recipes are. And again, those aren't quick, but they're definitely easy and simple. Sheet pan suppers, meatless marvels, sensational sides. I am a sucker for an alliteration, I gotta say. Breads, there's a roasted garlic pull-apart cheese bread in here that will knock your socks off. And then, of course, sweets. All the sweets are really easy, really simple. Some of them are way more, they look way more complicated than they actually are. So, I've only got 5 minutes left. I'm really knocking out this stack. I'm going to sign another one, and then I'll ask a couple more questions. Oh, and then I have a little game I'm going to try to fit in. I'm going to make Haley come ask questions. Come over here, Haley. Come on. Where it's buried under my books. Come say hi, Haley. So, Haley, come here.
Where can I sit on your books?
You can sit on, you can, yeah. So, Haley.
Thanks.
Hi,
Hi,
Haley.
Ree. Thanks a lot for this.
Isn't she gorgeous? So, Haley, she's so quiet and sweet and would rather not be on camera.
No.
She's adjusting. That's what I've been doing the whole time. Don't look. It's better not to look. So Haley is a good family friend, and
we have it.
Oh, good. Here it is. And she used to, her parents are friends of ours, and we've gone to church together for years. She has 2 beautiful sisters. She's the oldest. And she used to babysit the kids when they were little.
Yep.
They thought Haley was her big sister, and she finally had to explain she wasn't. But she had the audacity to get married and move away, and it broke my heart. And then she moved back with her husband, and I was like, come back. So she's basically the best thing ever, and she helps me so much. And someday soon she'll have a baby and move on. But for now, I'm a Haley fan. She's so sweet.
Thanks.
So Haley, as I sign, we have a list of 22 questions in 2 minutes. I don't know, is 22 just arbitrary? So I guess, are they all yes, no? Or are they all just one word?
They're one word quick.
Okay, one word questions.
Okay.
Go.
Who inspires you most?
You.
Oh, stop.
Oh, too many people to name. I can't. My mom.
Okay. Who is the most unexpected person in your phone? Ooh. These get interesting.
Drew Scott, Property Brothers. I have his number.
We should call him.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Who makes you laugh the
Let's
most?
prank him. Let's prank
We
call.
should.
Who makes me laugh the most? Oh gosh, my sister Betsy.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Well, I mean, Elle McPherson or like Cindy Crawford.
I love her.
Just
I
kidding.
was her for every Halloween in elementary.
Joan Crawford. No, I don't know. Someone
Okay.
with red hair.
What is the weirdest thing a fan has ever said to you?
Oh gosh. Nothing. I mean, I'm not worried about weird. Weird doesn't. Although I will say something cute. You can take this how you like, but this was probably my first book signing in 2009, and there was the cutest couple that came to my book signing, and they were newlyweds, and they'd been married for less than a year, and so I was signing and kind of talking to them both, and the husband was here and the wife was here. And they said, we just got married. We really enjoy your recipes. And the husband leaned down and said, we cook your recipes naked.
Oh dear.
I mean, but it was cute. But I remember he was standing right there. I go, oh. But we had kind of a laugh about it. It was, anyway.
Caught you off guard.
That was a long
Okay,
answer.
I know that we've passed 2 minutes probably.
Sorry.
What is the last book you've read?
Last book I read, not a huge reader because I fall asleep, but I am reading, so cliche, I'm reading Cherno's Hamilton biography because, it's interesting. Lin-Manuel Miranda, I believe, wrote Hamilton after reading the biography. And so now so many people are reading the biography after seeing the musical. So I think that's pretty cool.
And it's really long, right?
It's huge. It's like 750 pages.
Right. Okay, what one thing do you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Butter.
True. What is your favorite filmmaker / director?
I don't know. I like them all. Spielberg. That was easy.
That's a popular
I
one.
just watched a documentary about Steven Spielberg. It's very good.
Aw, I'm curious of this one. What is your dream car?
My dream car, like a Jeep Wagoneer from 1987.
That's what I want.
Really?
We
Not
can
a new
share
one. I want like an old one with
yeah.
wood paneling on the side.
Diane Keaton.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what is your favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to cook is chicken parmesan. I don't know why I said that. I like cooking chicken fried steak.
Anything, right. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Where do I see myself in 10 years? Let's go to the next one. I have no idea.
What item would you love to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Something from Gone with the Wind.
I can see that. What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve? I don't know. I usually have pet peeves about myself, not others. So,
What
this is a pet peeve of mine when I do this all the time.
Or your
And when I say
Not a problem. What is the last album you bought or streamed?
Hamilton.
Every answer.
And I streamed the Eagles' greatest hits.
Nice. What was the last movie you saw in theaters?
Can't remember.
What color is your toothbrush?
Pink.
That's a great question.
These are groundbreaking.
Do you have any hidden talents?
Do I have any hidden talents?
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
This is getting
I
serious.
can put I won't do it all the way, but I can put my ankle behind my head.
Great.
And Ethel Merman impersonations.
Okay, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Morning.
That's true. What cause is dear to your heart?
What cause is dear to my heart? Oh gosh. I really like Samaritan's Purse, the organization, Special Olympics, and I just, feeding the hungry is important to me because I think that's something that we are supposed to do.
I love that. Okay, what is the last gift you received?
Last gift I gave, I never can remember. I don't remember the last movie I saw.
I know. I don't remember what
I can't
had
remember.
for lunch today.
I can't remember.
I might not have had lunch today.
Received, Lad got me a cute bracelet.
Yes.
Okay.
Where do you want to go that you've never been?
Where do I want to go that I've never been?
We're almost done.
Scotland.
And how do you take your coffee?
I have a little coffee with my cream. Yay! We did it. So guys, thank you so much for joining me for my live signing. Pioneer Woman Cooks, come and get it. Haley,
Yay.
thank you for joining me.
Of course.
I know you
I didn't think this would happen.
She didn't. She knew. She didn't think I was going to do it. But
Still sweating.
thank you all so much for joining me. See you soon. Bye.